All right, questions. I'm rambling on here.
Yeah, we do.
Where are we at?
So I think if I have this right, we're asking that if we're doing testing and streaming, who is going to be able to see that test stream?
Yeah.
So you're doing some tests during the week. Who's going to be able to see that, and where will it go?
Well, I mean, my answer to that would be if you already have the platform embedded on your website and people can get to your website, if for some reason people stumble upon it, they're going to see it. You could take it off your website, or if you have it on a specific page on your website, you could maybe lock the page down. Some platforms, some WordPress and things, you can make the page, I guess, invisible, for lack of better terms.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, usually when you start streaming, if you have it on a website, if you have it on your home page, that's a different deal. But if you have it on one of your other pages on your website, you're not probably going to have a gang of people just all of a sudden flock, to that. So you can either take it off your website or maybe block it on a page on your website. This depends on again, the type of website you have. People are going to see it unless you password protect it or again, make it invisible.
Yeah, and unless you have invited a lot of people, normally people aren't going to be on your platform during the week. So it's, while I understand it's a concern, you don't want people seeing a test go on. I've done it 1,000 times, and if it concerns you a lot, just have some nice music and a slideshow going so that it doesn't appear weird. Don't be shirtless in front of the camera and suddenly turn it on. Somebody might be shocked, but I really have rarely ever had any issues with testing and someone during the week having an issue with that. So we had another question, Phil, about some good specs for a computers. So let's say laptop, desktop, MacBook, Mac. What are some good specifications that they should be looking for in a good modern computer?
Sure. Well, I don't have a Mac anymore, but I can address the Windows and Windows 10 is really you really would want to have Windows 10. It will work on any Windows operating system, but you really ideally have Windows 10. An Intel Core i7 processor, 3 gigahertz. That's what I would recommend. I think you should have at least 8 gig of memory. I think you should. Ideally, I'm real big on solid state disk for hard drive. You don't have to have that, but I'm kind of big on that. The graphics card for your computer, there's a NVIDIA, I think, is that what it is? There's a dedicated NVIDIA card with at least 2 gigabytes of memory is ideal. So if you really want to, I would start, if your budget allows, I would go with something like that, as beefy as you can afford. It's a lot easier. Mike and I both have this weird hobby of jeeping. We do Jeeps. We do off-roading. and what tends to happen with us is that we buy things and we do some upgrades, but we keep upgrading and we keep upgrading. At least in my case, over the years, if I would have just upgraded to what I have now the first or second time, I would have saved myself a lot of money. And so if you're able to get a computer that's beefy enough for what I described from the onstart, that will save you some money in the long run. And when it comes to Macs, again, the latest operating system for Mac, but you want an Intel Core processor that's going to be at a fairly high level in case you want to do some other things with that computer, in case you want to do multiple streams, multiple destinations, you want to do some higher resolution stuff. That's ideal. That would be the ideal thing. And I think that's what I would recommend. And it's certainly a newer computer. And let me just say this while we're rambling on here. When you have a computer for streaming, I would really designate that for streaming. Keep the youth group off it during the week. Keep people...
No gaming or playing or doing other things. Because then when you come in to stream on the weekend, stuff doesn't work.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Phil and I have experienced that firsthand.
Oh yeah, so if you can really designate that for your streaming computer, and really, I know some people will also stream and put ProPresenter on it and do some other things. That you're risking some issues there because it's going to bog your computer down when you're streaming with it, and at the same time doing ProPresenter or some of those other things. I would really try to designate that as streaming only if you're going to use a computer, and have something else to do those other things with. And yes, Kevin, I know we're not weird, but some people think we're weird. They just don't understand us, Kevin. I'm referring to Kevin's text here about off-roading.
Yes, message about Jeepers and off-roaders. I would add one thing to that, Phil, and I think you hit it, but I would say think in terms of upgradable. If you have a good set of bones in a computer that you can upgrade, you can add a better video card. The expandability is better than having to go maybe buy a whole new laptop. But even those you can upgrade, some of the components on. Yeah. But think long term and think upgradable, expandable, and that would be probably the best way to get started.
Yeah. And if you're interested in hardware, you can talk to us later about hardware live encoders. We've been talking here about software you would download on your computer for streaming, but you can also use hardware live encoders. There's different ones out there. Epiphan, we're very good friends with the people in Epiphan. Yep. They used to do the Webcaster. We actually had a Webcaster we were giving out to people. They do not make the Webcaster anymore. Yeah. But they have other ones. They have Pearl, the Pearl Mini, Pearl 2. Yep. And those are some good devices. They're really good, and we can give you some more information about that from Epiphan. And there's other ones out there too, Teradek. Yeah. And I'm not huge on TriCaster. I mean, Michael, you and I had experience with the TriCaster years ago.
I'm going to bite my tongue, and we're just going to move ahead there.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but there are other live encoders.
They work. They can work for you. And a lot of these devices are great devices that are built for streaming. So that is the exclusive and only thing that they do.
Hardware, yes. And again, there's something to be said about that. All right, we're going to wrap this up. We went a little over by taking some of your questions. Again, I want to emphasize this was mainly speaking a lot towards streamingchurch.tv and how we do things. But if you have questions, you don't have to have an account with us to call us or talk to us. We'd be happy to talk to you. We're not going to try to sell you on anything. If we can help your church in any way, we'll certainly try to do that. And we'd be happy and honored to serve your church if you wanted to do a free trial with us. But we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for watching our webinar. Michael, thank you for your help on this.
You bet. Thanks, Phil.
All right. He's Michael Gray. I'm Phil Thompson, and we're from streamingchurch.tv. And we hope that you have a great day. Be safe, take care of yourself, and we'll catch you again next time.